Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing great today. This is Santiago Valencia coming at you. I hope you're doing great today because we're going to be talking a little bit about how I go about maintaining my voice, pushing myself a little bit, maintaining my voice, and avoiding burnout as best as I possibly can. I've been singing professionally for at least a few decades now, believe it or not. And these are the things that I have always done in order to keep myself in shape and not lose my voice in the process. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, well, thanks for stopping by and checking out the channel. Today, we're talking about how I go ahead and take care of my voice and avoid burnout at all costs. I've been singing for, God, I don't even know how long now. It's probably been at least 40 plus years that I've been singing professionally in a lot of different forms, a lot of different bands. And over time, I have done a pretty decent job of extending my range on the upper end and the lower end, and done a pretty good job, in my opinion, about avoiding burnout, avoiding losing my voice too much. So these are the things that I have realized looking back of the things that I've done in order to extend myself, but also avoid that burnout. So let's go into number one. Number one, I'm going to be exercising. I know not a lot of people want to hear that, but it's the reality, it's the truth. I exercise, I go to the gym, I'll do ab work, I'll do cardio, but above all, what I try to do the best of is actually swim. There's something about swimming that really works really well with singers. I personally believe it has to do with, the breathing patterns and holding that breath and exhaling and stuff like that. It really works really well. It complements singers very, very well. So if you're in a location where you're able to swim on a regular basis, that's probably the number one thing I would recommend. But not just that, I would also do weight training. I would also do cardio, like I said, ab work, et cetera, et cetera. Even yoga. Yoga is very great for holding, building that core and maintaining that core, strengthening the core. So that's another great option too. So I make sure to try to do my very best to keep in shape and maintain myself in shape, because at the end of the day, this whole body is part of the instrument of singing. We have to just look at it that way, because in reality, it is. Another thing that I will do are my vocal exercises. These are my scales, these are my warm-ups. Yeah, I've been doing it now for, since I was 15 years old with my very first coach back in the day. And quite frankly, I have never stopped doing vocal exercises since, except for one part of my life, which was kind of scary, and I'll get back to that in a little bit later. But other than that, I've always done my exercises. I'll probably do exercises 3-4 times a week minimum. And every time that I'm doing those exercises, I'll jump in the car, I'll drive probably about 20-30 minutes that way, do my exercises and come back. That way, I'm not really bothering any of my neighbors, because I know it can get a little shrieky sometimes. And you're doing all these scales and you're doing them sometimes a little loud, especially when you're trying to hit the higher notes. And it resonates. So I try to avoid feeling weird about it with my neighbors around here. So I just get in the car by myself, close the windows, drive, and I'm free to just work on my voice, explore new little approaches and skills. And for me, it has worked really, really well. So I'll get that done. And then when I come back to the studio, now I'm ready to sing. I'm all warmed up and I can just focus on the songs and my mic technique here that I don't do in the car. I do that in the studio, but the actual exercises, I tend to do them in the car. I think it kind of works. I like it. I've been doing it for years, and that's pretty much how I approach it. In addition to that, I actually sing 4, maybe 5 times a week. Now, that could be that I'm singing here in the studio, working on songs. That could also be that I'm rehearsing with a band. That could be actual performances, right? Learning lyrics or whatever like that. So I'm actually taking the time to sing in a performance capacity, not just working on vocal exercises, right? So I'll go ahead and sing 4 to 5 times a week in order to keep it going. It's a great way to also learn new songs, to extend your song catalog as far as what you know as a singer. So it is certainly something that I maintain and have been doing for, again, quite some time. Now, I will go ahead and push myself, but not too much, right? We want to push ourselves a little bit more every day, but not too much to where we're going to damage ourselves, to where we're going to hurt our vocal cords, and then, take ourselves out of the game, So push a little bit, but not too far. You just kind of feel it. You just have to kind of know your body. You have to listen to your body and make sure that you're not really damaging anything up here, okay? But again, I always try to push myself just a little bit. It's like, okay, that's good for today, and then I'll put it back, and then tomorrow I'll do a little bit more, et cetera, especially if I'm working on a particular song, especially that has like a higher range or something like that. So make sure to push yourself a little bit, but not too far. Be smart, be good to yourself, but also work to improve every day as best as you possibly can. All right. Also, I will do hot water. I will do regular water. I will do tea. Tea and lemon and honey is one of my favorites. But for the majority, I would probably say it's water. I have to keep this hydrated. I have to keep it loose and ready to go, feeling nice and clean. So drink a lot of water. And that's basically how I approach that. Just making sure that that's always in flow, okay? Next, I will actually work on probably about 5 to 10 songs that I've been doing for so long. And it's not to learn them or to perform them, which I'm sure at this point, if I picked any of those 10 songs, I could perform in a drop of a hat. But it's really more to work on my dexterity. Maybe there's a cool run or a cool scale that's going on in this thing, or maybe it's extending my range. And when I work on these songs, it's like, oh, that song it's not so hard anymore. Or I found a different way to approach it, or maybe a head voice works better, or falsetto, or something like that, right? So it's a great way to work on these 10 songs, again, not to perform them per se, but just to find new approaches and trying different techniques and skills when it comes to singing. I'll give you an example of some of these songs. Some of these songs could be Separate Ways by Journey. That's a pretty tough one. It gets up there pretty high. There's a great song that I love by Peebo Bryson, and that is Can You Stop the Rain? Again, gets pretty high in that bridge part, and I love doing that one because it's a great run. It's great. And I'll even work on my lower range, do some Barry White stuff, I'm more of a strong tenor, not much of a baritone, but I still want to work on that lower part of my voice just so I have that range and so that I have that control as well. So these 10 songs I'll go ahead and work on a regular basis, and it's worked for me pretty well. Every once in a while I'll add a new song, but for the most part I stick to these kind of 10 songs that I kind of work on, okay? Next, I go ahead and rest. Now, resting is very, very important. We really have to look at this as if we're athletes, truly, like we're almost Olympians, right? Because when you really think about it, everything that we're doing as singers, in order to improve, in order to move on stage, everything's very physical. Everything's super physical. Going to the gym, working on those vocal exercises, moving, having the dance move and being able to sing as you're dancing on stage or having movement or whatever like that. Working with the audience, you really are doing a lot, probably more than you actually realize. So with all that, we also have to kick back and make sure that we're also resting, right? And so that we give our muscles a chance to learn what we've done with the muscle memory, but also to recoup and then come back stronger the next day, okay? So resting, extremely important. Don't over sing either. As a kid, I used to sing probably 3-4 hours a day. Like, I loved to sing as a kid, and all my neighbors knew it at the time, But at the same time, I had a vocal coach say, like, don't over sing because you don't want to, damage. And it's kind of true, as much as I loved it. But just make sure that you are resting up and getting ready to just kick ass the next day, All right, now, the next thing I would like to say to you is, with that mentality of kind of being an athlete, make sure that you are being patient with yourself, okay? It's super important, super important. I mean, like I said, I've been singing probably for, God, 40, 45 years at this point in time, right? It's crazy to say, but it's true. And I always have to be patient with myself. Even though I'm working on that Journey or Steve Perry song, sometimes it'll come out really good. Sometimes hey, I didn't really do it that good today, but yesterday I did it much better, right? So we just have to be patient with ourselves. Sometimes we have good days, sometimes we have bad days, sometimes we have better days. So it really depends. Just be patient with yourself, rest up, keep consistent, keep working at it, and the next day you're gonna come back a little bit stronger. So keep that all in mind. It's a lot to keep in mind, but it is very true. Now, I have a little bit of a scary story because, like I said before, I've been doing vocal exercises since I was 15 years old. But there was one point in my life when I stopped singing, and that was during COVID, all right? So COVID began, at the beginning of 2020, and went on for a few years. Well, in the middle of that period, I didn't sing for probably close to 2 years. There was just nothing going on, and I'm just, I don't know, playing video games or whatever the hell I was doing. And I was not keeping myself in shape. I let myself go. At the end of that almost 2-year period where I wasn't really singing, I'm like, okay, cool, it's time to sing now. And when I tried singing, it was a disaster. I could not hit any of the high notes that I used to be able to hit with ease. I didn't have the range. I didn't have the control. I didn't have the dexterity of anything. It's almost like I never knew how to sing in the first place, right? And man, it was scary because I love to sing. It's one of my biggest, honestly, I would probably call it one of my superpowers in my life, right? And not to have that superpower, all of a sudden you're Superman, you can't fly anymore. It's scary stuff, right? And there was just one huge lesson I learned from this. And you know that old adage that if you don't use it, you lose it? So true. It is so incredibly, incredibly true. So just keep that in mind. You have to keep using it or else you lose it. And that's what I discovered. So it took me probably about 6 to 9 months of vocal exercises on a daily basis in order for me to get it all back, to get back to the point where I left it, right? I had lost my range, again, my control, everything, my breath, my breath control. It was not good. So it took me 6 to 9 months to get it all back. Finally, I did. My range came back, my strength came back, my dexterity, control. And ever since that day, I've never gone with, a week without doing my exercises, like I said, 3-4 times a week and singing on a regular basis. And I've learned that I will never, ever do that to myself again, ever. So just remember that. You have to keep working at it. You have to be patient with yourself, be consistent. And if it's something that you really, really want to do and something that you really care for, like I do, don't stop. Don't quit on yourself. Just keep going. We don't have to be the best singer in the world, okay? I know I'm not. There are some other singers out there that will kick my butt, absolutely. We just have to be the best singers that we possibly can in order to be happy with ourselves, in order to perform well, and in order to be happy with that performance and how we display our talents, okay? Everyone's a little different. Not all of us are going to be Christina Aguilera's. Not all of us are going to be Michael Bublé's or Steve Perry's, okay? We do what we can with what we have, and we take it as far as we can, okay? So remember that. Just be patient with yourself. Don't give up on yourself, and just be consistent. And there you go. All right, guys. So putting that all together, doing that on a regular basis, and then the last thing, you do it all over again. You do it all over again and keep going and making strides and becoming a better singer, a better presenter, a better performer, right? So there you go, guys. That's how it goes. All right, guys. Well, again, I hope this helped. I hope these pointers have helped you. Let me know if you have any questions, if you also experienced the same thing, if there was ever a time when you lost your voice or what have you. We'd love to hear about it in the comments and see how you possibly overcame that, okay? All right, guys. Well, again, this is Santiago Valencia. Thanks for sticking around. I would love for you to hit that subscribe button if you feel so inclined to do. Questions, thumbs up, it is all good. I hope you guys have a wonderful 2026, and I do have more videos on the way. Have a great day. Till then, take care.